So the dash is kind of a disappointment. It was, you can see this sits up in here, and it's got like this idiot gauge cluster that fits in there. The, look at that, 41,000 miles. That's pretty cool, huh? So I wanted to keep the speedometer works fine. Thank you. Thank you for being difficult. So the speedometer works fine. And I kind of wanted to keep like a stock gauge arrangement going on in this thing. I just didn't see, I don't know. I mean, I know it's a fucking pile of shit box. But I also didn't want to like totally ruin kind of the look of it, because, you know, it's a distinct error. So what I came up with was I was kind of hoping to find something that I could fit in here and then make the stock speedometer work, or maybe I could drill it into this guy and set it back here. And this is 2 1/16, and it's just too big for basically anything. And then this guy's 4-inch, and they really don't make a lot of 4-inch tachometer, you know, dills. So what I'm pretty much, I got all picked out, and in my inbox at Jigs, I found one of these guys. So I'm thinking about drilling out this Pontiac and then recessing a tachometer actually like into the gauge cluster. So you have at least a tachometer and a speedometer, and the gas works. So I had 3 gauges left, and these are 1.5 inches. So I found 1.5 inches water temperature, oil pressure, and a PSI gauge, 1 to I think 60. They come in, you can get it 15, 60, you can go all the way to 1500, all 1.5 inches. So I'm thinking if I can maybe get that thing to sit in there, that might be kind of a cool look to have those in there. Unfortunately, they're all fucking different colors. Once you get down to I need a 1.5 inch gauge, your selection is out the window. You can have these or you cannot have them. So that's where we're at, and hopefully that will. So I'm pretty sure I'll order those and throw it in there, and that way I'll be able to retain. I also like having my column shifter little needle thing working, and I would like it all to work because I'm greedy like that. And I think it would look cool to just retain the stock dash. I got a race pack gauge cluster that I could maybe 3D print and just like snap in there and have like all the stuff that I really want and care about on there. But I don't know. I think for a daily driver that might be, you know, it's not going to be a crazy horsepower car, and that might be all you need to really monitor just the engine temperature, the oil pressure. Oh yeah, and underneath the main gauges on the dash panel, there's this little space there, and I can get like regular gauges in there. So I'm gonna mount I have an AEM True Boost, I believe it is, air fuel ratio gauge, and I'll mount that on the dash. So I'll have air fuel ratio, boost pressure, oil pressure, and engine temperature, and a tachometer. That should be enough. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I bought these gauges, and these guys were like little tiny gauges that will fit actually in to this cluster. But if I just rip this stuff out and just kind of replace it all, I could get one of those like speedometers, what do you call it, GPS speedometers. So these little guys will actually fit into this guy. And so my thoughts was I could replace this one, this one, and this one, and then over here I got this little boost pressure. It's like a 0 to 60 gauge, or a 60 gauge, 0 to 60 PSI boost gauge, or just a pressure gauge, but it just has MPT fitting on the back, and I got like a little hose, and I can just run the hose up into there from the manifold, and it will tell me what the boost pressure is. I bet they make boost gauges that are based off your map sensor nowadays. And I got an oil sensor, so these guys can fit into these gauges. I can leave my stock gas, my stock speedometer in place for now, and then I got this little RPM guy, and I was thinking I can just stick it over here. I wonder, it'd be nice if I could fit the RPM and maybe my air fuel right next to each other. I don't know if there's going to be enough room for that. Wow, this guy's little. I mean, it's like thin. Look at that. This is the AEM bill. Look how thin that is. I think what I can do is I can get I cut out a piece of aluminum and kind of Dremel out what I don't need of this plastic shielding on the inside, because there's enough room here that these guys can fit. Maybe. Maybe I'm lying to myself, telling myself stories. Ah, damn it. So these guys are a bit complicated in how they kind of stack together in this odd way, which probably makes a lot of sense for factory work. It just comes down, you just pop, 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 zip, 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 and you're done. But what I'm hoping to get away with is just drop these three gauges in here, make a plate for this guy to fit the air fuel and the tachometer, and then just sit this over this for the most part. I might have to do some clearancing in the back where the old little covers is, but I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see what we have to do. So I think water temperature on top, is that the most important, or is it oil pressure? I'll put water temperature on the top. I don't think we have to worry about the order of precedence. I'm so OCD. So OCD. Let's clean this guy up. It is dusty and dirty. And it hasn't seen daylight in 40 years, so you know, it's hard to wrap your head around. Like when I was a kid, see, I grew up in the 80s, so like a 57 Chevy would have been, let's see, if it was 87, that is 30, that's like only like 30 years old, right? And that was like a bitchin' old car, like a classic. I remember looking at a 56 Nomad on a lot, and I think they wanted like 4K. It was mint. 4K back then was a lot of fucking money. But yeah, couldn't afford that. Would have liked it. I've always been a station wagon guy. I've always had a deep love, a deep admiration for the wagon. He likes the W. Alright. Not bad, not bad. You got this guy. Used to have a killing. There we go. K-bar. A K-bar 60 and a 45. Those are the tools that keep the Rangers alive. Yep, we got PSIs. There is definitely PSIs. I'm getting to the age where I've completely lost my mind. So here's my fancy idea to hold this guy in place. damn it. Everything was going so well. 2 inches. So let's see what we got. Trying to make it look nice. Alright, so this guy, we're thinking like here, hey, that looks like it might work. And this, we can fit on, there's a nice good, there's some shit in the way. So there's a little dilly on the back, just gotta get rid of that. Just like arts and crafts. I got some metal on my finger now. It feels great. If it ain't one thing, it's a motherfucking another. And you go through there, go drop onto milk. We'll snug you down. Yeah, everybody's happy. Everybody's happy with that. Can't complain about that. Now we're just gonna this is an odd little mechanism. This is your can you see that? Doubt it. Okay, watch. That's your parking selector indicator thingy. And I almost broke the dash. I felt it like go crack. Okay, so we are gonna take this guy apart so we can see if this will fit the way this is, which I think it looks like it will. And then if that works, what we're going to do is figure out how to get the air fuel and the tachometer over here and see what we got to do. See what the haps is on the rest of this stuff. It looks like I got like power lines, but I'm not really sure like how they're powered. If it's just all powered. I see a red wire. It would be nice if we can just tie the wires right into the loop, to the main loom here. How fucking sweet is that, man? That's like, I feel like one of those Mexican soccer players. Goal! So hopefully this will just drop in there. And I won't have to fuss with anything. Like a Mexican soccer player. Whoops, got upside down. Please just fit. Turn signal indicators are falling all over the place. We'll just take them out for right now. And we'll do this. it. There. Back into there. Just fit. Just be nice. Just work with me a little bit. I've been trying to bring you back to life. And fit no fit. Does it fit? Fit no fit. It's hitting on these stupid screw covers. I was thinking if I could just trim these bitches down. Oh, well that makes perfect sense. We'll throw them at the very bottom. Okay, well, whatever. Because I really don't need any of that, so I think I'm just gonna obliterate it. I'm gonna kill it. That's what I'm gonna do. Which instrument of death do we want to use? Probably one that's not gonna hurt us too bad. Let's try it. Let's give it a shot now. Ha! Alright, so we just need to figure out how to get the gas guy. So there's 2 points for it, so that should keep it in there. If I can. You got that too, huh? I'll get it there. So, alright, so we just gotta cut this here so we have room for our gauges. Meow. So I think I'm gonna just try to wing it like this. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Thick bandsaw. Bottom. Yeah, so just put one in there. Who cares? Right? Right. This guy. Why did he put wires on gauges? Alright, man. It's not exactly OEM, but it's not shit. It's not complete shit either. It's gonna work, boys. It's gonna work. Oh, yeah, that'll work. Yeah. Okay, cool. Alright. So I didn't totally fuck us. What we'll do is make a little aluminum bezel, right, that goes around here, and this will fit into. The same thing we're doing over here. And when this dash drops on top of it, it looks like these guys are going to kind of cover that up anyway. So, to a certain extent. So it doesn't really, nothing really matters. Nothing really matters to me. Okay, so we just gotta measure this shit out. Yeah, like this. I think like that. Swap them over. This has select and mode. That way we'll still have access to those buttons. And yeah, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. So I'm gonna make a circle. I need to know how big of a circle I need to make. And I'll write it down. That way I won't have to measure it 6 times because I forgot. So this is PSI, and this we'll call tack. So we're going to say 1.6Z. 1.600 thou. ID, and then the OD we're going to make so it will sit on top of now 2 inches. 2.00 OD olive drab. Alright. And then on these guys, I think we'll just set it up kind of 45 like this. And that should, there's nothing in there, so it should work. I don't know, I think this is just plastic. So we should be able to carve that out pretty easily. We just need to know what this is. This out. Man, this is just an incredible little gauge, huh? Problem with working with Harbor Freight calipers is they always go out of 0 constantly. Okay, so we'll make it 2 100 for tack, and we'll call this O2. So we'll say 2 100 ID, and we have to find out what the outside diameter is so we can kind of know how far to offset these guys. So we'll call it 2,500. Should give me enough little wiggle room there. 2,500. And this guy probably the same. The OD is 2. We'll say 2,300. 2,300, and the ID we can make 203. Say 2,206. That'll give us a couple thou to work with now. I think we just kind of make it the same size as this guy. This kind of imaginary circle here. It looks to be 5 inches, so we're going to call that. Yeah, let's call it 5 inches on a 5-inch ring. And we will choose a circle and we'll put it here. And we will do a copy of it and paste, and then we will get the sizing right. So the inside is 1 600, and the outside is going to be 200 or 2 inches. So that's great. We will add some tool paths to this. We'll make this one a mill tool path, and see my lead-ins 45. Let's do a little more lead-in than that. And okay, that's good. And then this guy, we'll make it a female tool path. And we'll give ourselves a little more lead-in, and that's fine. We'll hit OK. And then we got to get rid of our geometry. And we're left for tool paths. We got to sequence these, make sure that they're sequenced correctly. And that is first and that is last. That will work. And then we just export. Where the hell I export these things to? Let's go. Block off plates. Sure, we'll call it block off plate. We'll say the 2-inch PSI and save. Okay, so that one's good. The next one, we'll just reuse this and open up some more geometry, and that should be good. Hit OK. Whoops, don't need you, little circle. So our O2 needs to be 2.1, so we'll make this 2.100, and this needs to be 260, so 2.06, 2.06, great. And then this guy is going to be 5 inches. Why are we having such a difficult time today, Mike? 5, enter. Okay, so now we just got to nest this stuff up. Actually, what I need to do, let me just do this real quick. This is my O2. This is my tack. What I wanted to do was control copy, control paste, and let's make this, the outside of the tack is 2300, so we'll say 2.3, and we'll just make another one, and this was 2500, so we'll just change this to 2.5, and then what I need to do is I need to nest these guys together, because this is the inside. That's what the actual cut that I need to make, but this is including the bezel area. So we can we'll just group those just to keep it simple. I'll throw that there. And then this is the outside of the tachometer and the inside. So we need to actually cut the hole on the inside, but we need to account for the material on the outside so we don't bump into each other. And then we need to kind of keep them nested towards the center. Oh, you know what? I was going to do the tachometer on top. That's right, because it has little buttons. So let's switch this up. Put this down here. Put this up here. See, right here we're hitting, and we're outside of our circle as well. So let's just move stuff around a little bit, see what we can do. And that is not horrible. It's not horrible. So we don't need these guys, so we'll get rid of the, So let's ungroup them. You two. And then we can get rid of these guys. Buy and buy. And there we go. So that's what we're going to cut out on our dill. I should scribe something on there. Like, should I do a monkey? I think like a little monkey fab on the dash would be cool. That'd be kind of cool. I think it'd be cool. let's do that. Let's go file, open. Cool. So we'll add these toolpaths. We'll make this a female. We'll make this a female. And we'll make this one a male. And then we gotta get rid of our geometry. And then we gotta sequence it. Sequence by list. Let's make that first. And okay, great. And file, export. It sounds much nicer in person, I assure you. I assure you, it's so pleasant. Alright, and cut it. Okay, and start. Do plasma cutter, thanks. Pretty cool. What they claim to cut, what do you call it? The tolerance. The tolerance is always off just a hair. So that guy will probably not be a big problem to fit at all, and that guy's going right in too. So that's good. And what we'll do is we'll just, whenever you plasma cut, it always makes kind of a disgusting mess. So we'll just take and clean this thing up a bit, and we'll cleanse this guy out a little bit, and clean it up and paint it, so that way it kind of matches the same kind of black motif that's going on. Right around. Now, what I do have to do is figure out how I'm going to hold this guy in here, and I'm hoping that this plastic cover over the top will just kind of mash it down. Yeah, I think so. So what I can probably get away with is just gluing this thing onto there and putting that cover there to kind of hold it down, and we'll make it happen. It has been hours, like probably 4 or 5 hours now, I'm guessing, since I've last had this camera on, and this is kind of where I'm at present. So we got all the gauges kind of situated in the stock gauge pod the best we could. I had to, this ended up sticking out a lot farther than I really intended, which is fine because it has little buttons on it. I don't know what the hell they do, but I went ahead and cut that out with the hole saw, and then just did some clearancing with the old aluminum tipped die grinder, and it fits okay. It's not perfect, but it's gonna work. It's gonna work, and I got all the wires ran for the most part. One of the problems I'm running into is the air fuel is a plug. There are just two plugs in the back, and I don't want to cut the loom halfway down and splice it all together. I'd just rather plug it together. So I'm wondering how I'm going to do it. I have to assemble this whole thing, and I wonder if I can get it assembled in the car and plug that in and then do the rest of it. Most of it, I have most all the wires out for all the other stuff, and that's not going to be that's easy. I got that sorted, and I got the little boost hose guy, and I've ran all the I've ran all the wires to all the sensors, the temperature sensor, the oil pressure sensors down the fender. I ran the hose for the throttle body for the boost gauge and for the blow-off valve, and I ran the wiring for the, let's see here, the air fuel, not the air fuel, the fuel pressure sensor. I just found it at AN4, not AN, yeah, AN4 line that I had laying around, and I just took the Schrader valve out of that and found this really goofy ass T-fitting that worked. I just plugged the two ends that I didn't need and just ran around and zip tied it, and ran that into there. So, and the air fuel gauge. So I should have a pretty good complement of gauges. I think I went from having basically a speedometer and an odometer and a gas gauge. The inside of the car is just an absolute disaster, and my light's dead, but it's just a pile of wires down there. Not really fun. But I went from just having a speedometer and a gas gauge to now I got coolant and oil and boost and air fuel and the tack, and I'll also have a air fuel, or not air fuel, a fuel pressure gauge, and I kind of think that that's got most of the gauges I like to see covered. So I'll be pretty happy with that. It's a little wonky, but it's not horrible. I could have done a lot worse. So that's where I'm at. It's late, I'm tired, and I'm gonna call it a night. This is the current situation. We got all the sensors ran through the firewall, and all the kind of harnesses kind of pre-staged where I need them to be. I bought like a 6 fuse block, and I just ran it to my switch on with a 10 gauge, so now I can use that to run a few different things, and I'm going to use it to run my fuel pump. I'll have a remote fuel pump shut off, and the computer, and then all the gauges, of course. So it's a bit spaghetti-ish, but what are you gonna do, right? And then let's look at this junk in the trunk. We got this guy all kind of ready to go. So all the wires again are ran. They pre-ran the hoses for the boost gauge, and I kind of just got to marry the two at this point. So not super motivated. It's not a motivated day. It's a Sunday, and I mostly worked doing monkey fab stuff all day, making collectors and stuff. But yeah, that's where we're at, and we're gonna get ourselves motivated and make something happen. Give me this. Give me this. What you got, Blue? What you got? That dog loves his stick. It's all about that stick. So we got old Ticky Tick running. I went ahead and built just a dump pipe right now, and it kind of rolls down through there, and eventually it'll just, I think, go back underneath the A-frame and meet up with the exhaust and just kind of get recycled. All the heat wraps are burning off
Nice and smoky. I got a little whine going on with the power steering. And then here's my ticky tick. Let me adjust my microphone. So hopefully you guys can hear it, but I don't know. So come in here, you look around, you think, well, maybe the belt. Yeah. But then you come down here, and you hear it like totally in the converter. Something's going on with that. But yeah, I mean, can't really tell if it's making turbo noises or not. It's kind of loud. And we got the gauges working, so we're running pretty rich, which you can smell. And the water temp gauge is kind of working, the oil pressure. So yeah, everything looks like it's. I think I'm gonna try to load a tune in it and take it around the block, see what happens. Hey, look, it's no longer in the garage. I actually took it. Look, I got my Team Baby Soft t-shirt on for you, Cameron, for you, sexy guy. Heart attack. So yeah, I took it down the street, and whenever I tapped the brakes, the fuel pump started screaming at me. So it's been running a while, and I don't remember how much gas I had in it. I know it was definitely an empty tank, you know, when I welded the sump on. So I don't know how much fuel it's got in there. So I think that needs to be taken care of. I hope that's the only problem, because God knows there's plenty of other problems. And it's doesn't feel like there's much power. The air fuel ratios are way off. I need to go ahead and kind of sort through the computer stuff, and I'll figure that out. You know, it's on the road now, at least running, and we can get it registered. So yeah, man, she's a sexy beast. Look at that. The hubcaps I just took off. I still have the hubcaps. Don't you worry. Don't you worry none. But let's see. Can we go low? So you got nice ground clearance on everything. And so I got to put the interior all back together. But all the gauges worked. That's a plus. And I washed it. I actually ran the old soap and water over. Look at that chrome, man. Back in the days when they used to actually put chrome on the car. So she is a looker. I joined AAA just so I could get a new sticker. I thought that was important to keep that tradition ongoing, since it looks like it's had that since forever. And I don't think I'm going to do the Rotary International thing though. So I locked it, so we're not going to go on the inside. But it looks nice and clean. Can we do an underhood? Maybe it'll look a little different in the daylight. Or fading daylight. No, not really. My next project, like I keep saying, will be addressing the drivetrain on it. So things to do, put the interior back together. I'm actually probably going to take it to a professional shop and get the headliner fixed. And then I got to get the 400 transmission in there, and the 8 rear end in there. It's only been like a year and a half, maybe, I don't know, but hey, at least it's driving on the road. So we'll just keep pushing forward with the old project. So if this is a good ending point, then this is Mike from Monkey Fab. Be sure to go ahead and check out my website. It's called monkeyfabgarage.com. Got lots of cool fabrication stuff there to help out the DIY guy. And other than that, this is Mike signing out.